Hi everyone, my name's Sara. I'm the HR manager here at Lawyer.
Hi, I'm Ramijha. I'm the HR associate at Lawyered.
We hope you're having a good day today. What we wanted to do is put together really short clips walking you through different parts of the application process when you're applying for different jobs. Just because from an HR perspective, I feel like we have a lot of insight on, what is successful and how you can maximize your success during the job hunt process. And we wanted to share that with you because we always want you to be successful and we always want you to achieve your maximum potential, if that's the best way to put it. But what we'll do is I'll share my screen really quickly. This aspect of it will focus on the most important part of any job application process, your resume. So what should your resume look like? We're going to pull up a sample resume, as you can see here, um, and work through it together. So Ramija, why don't you start us off?
Awesome. So you're going to start off by listing your name right up front because that's the first thing your application reviewer wants to see. They want to know who you are and what you bring to them. So here you're going to list your name, a little key information like your program, your year, your university, and your contact information, which is key because that's how you're going to want them to reach back to you in the events that they do want to reach out to you for an interview. Then you're going to move on to your summary of qualifications. We highly recommend using a summary of qualifications rather than objective because this way your application reviewer gets to see the highlighted qualifications that you provided in your resume. So here you're going to start off with an adjective, and you're going to list any experience, whether it's through your education, your work experience, volunteer, or even any awards, scholarships that you received. And you're going to be as specific and informative as you can about them. So here you'll see superb communication skills developed through my role as, and then provide the position that you did and any achievements that you received while conducting that position. And then you're going to move on to education, which Sarah will take off.
Awesome. So in terms of education, what you want to do is start off with the accreditation that you received. So what I've noticed quite a bit is a lot of students, and I did this as well a lot in my first year, is we flip it. So we have the school first, and then we have the accreditation we received underneath. But oftentimes, employers want to see what your program and what accreditation you're receiving is first. So for in this case, you want to start off with Bachelor of, and then you'll put in whatever bachelor you're completing and then your program name. So for example, in my situation, I'm a political science student. So I'll do Bachelor of Arts and then honors political science. That would be what I'd have in that first row. Then underneath that, you'd have your university name, where your university is located, your start date, and you want to have it up until present so that it shows and it's a very good indication that you are still in school. That is almost like a subtle sign to the employer that I am a student. Underneath that, you can have a few bullet points, and oftentimes I would recommend that. So, for example, in my case, I would include what I'm majoring in with a minor and any specializations. You can also include your GPA if that's something that interests you and if that's something where you find could add value to your resume. In the event that you're also a first year student, we recommend having your high school as well, because again, you're newly transitioning into university. It's a new transition, and so having your high school there would be beneficial. It would be the same setup though. So you'd have Ontario Secondary School Diploma or its equivalent, depending on where you've studied your high school, where you've studied high school, and then high school name, where it's located, start date, and then you'd have end date. Um, Along with education, another part of this section is relevant coursework. So a lot of the times, as students, we have a lot of knowledge in different areas, but that knowledge doesn't come from experience. It comes from what we've learned in school. So in that case, for example, if I'm applying for a policy job, I might list out one, two, maybe even three policy courses I've taken, just because, again, it shows the employer that I do have a lot of knowledge in policy that I can apply to the job itself. Ramija will now
So
explain work experience.
moving on to work experience. So this will most likely be the bulk of your resume. Your application reviewer will want to see, well, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the organization? Here you're going to list out your most recent work experience. So starting off, you're going to put the position you held, the company, and then the location, and make sure when putting the the date of your position, make sure to either include the month and the year, or the year works perfectly fine. And make sure you put it from the start till the end date. And if you're still currently holding that position, make sure you put the words present. When including your positions that you held, make sure to also include a description of what you did there. So you're not just going to do, you're not just going to list what you did there, but what, how, and why, and what did it result in. So, for example, as we have here, you're going to include what you did. So we raised the Google reviews for 4.2 stars. How we did it by maintaining a strong client relationship, and why we did it is because they had questions and concerns for directing them to other resources. This is a great way to show your employers, or the possible employers, of how you got information, how you conducted the information, and how you achieved your results.
Awesome. So as another example for you to just kind of look over on your own, administer the student program and triple the engagement from previous years using a combined approach of in-person, social media marketing, and word of mouth. So that's another example of a full what, how, why statement. And you would like to ideally have 3 to 5 bullet points for each experience. The next section is volunteer experience and activities. And so within volunteer experience and activities, as students, we'll notice we'll have a lot to say in this section specifically, just because, again, depending on your portfolio, you might have a lot that you've done outside of work experience, but that could go in here. So this is a great section to have. It still shows that you're a very successful and qualified individual. What you want to do is, again, build it out the same way you would build out work experience, just separate the two into 2 different sections. Have your title, have where you volunteered, what the club name was, for example. Where was this club located? The region or the geographic region. When did you work there, or when did you participate in that club? And then again, building out the same what, how, why statement. So in this case, if you were volunteering with Enactus, which is a student club on a lot of different university campuses, a sample statement for a vice president of external relations could be building out their presence on campus. How did you do it? Through effective relationship management. Why did you do it? To look for various opportunities to collaborate. And here's another example just for you to kind of read through on your own, to really drive through this what, how, why format. The last section of your resume would be awards, and you might even want to include certifications if you've done courses outside, but starting off as most important would be awards. What I've noticed personally, what I used to do a lot, is I'd have, for example, Dean's Honors List, and I'd have the date I got the award and I'd leave it at that. But I remember my employer in my first co-op job mentioned that I don't really know what that means, and that is a very big concern for employers. So when you're listing out an award, make sure you have the award name, who gave that award to you, when did you get it, but try and include a point underneath that illustrates what was that award for. For certain awards, so for example, a valedictorian award, you might not include that because valedictorian is, a long-standing award. A lot of people have knowledge on it, but for something like a scholarship from your university, having that explanation would be incredibly beneficial. So that's a little bit about how to build out your resume so that it's most successful. We hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to always reach out to us and ask. We're happy to help. Have a great rest of your days. Bye.